Tell us, why do you want to run for the open Senate seat, sir?
Well, I love my country. I serve my country in uniform. I've served in Washington as a congressman for the last 8 years. And in a time like this, open Senate seat for our state, an opportunity to do more for my state and my country. So I kicked off my campaign almost 2 years ago exactly, and been running hard. And here we are, just days away from a historic election, and out doing everything I can to get across the state and make my case that Indiana deserves a conservative senator and a senator who's going to work hard for our state for a long time to come, and that's what I want to be.
Tell us what you said, historic. What makes this election historic?
I just think it's the most important election of our lifetime. Truly a crossroads for our country. What kind of country do we want to pass on to our kids and our grandkids? I've been in Washington for 4 years under President Trump, and now 4 years under President Biden, and it's a night and day difference. So it's my belief, my strong belief, that we need to go back to the policies that we had under President Trump that secured our border, that made our economy strong, that projected American strength around the world. And we'll all be better off for it. So getting Donald Trump back in the White House, and then having strong senators like myself to back him up and to push for the policies to put America first, that's what I stand for. That's my track record in the House, and that's what I want to take to the Senate on behalf of this great state.
Speaking of immigration and border issues, you talked a little bit about them. Talk to us a little bit about your thoughts. What are some policies, some plans?
Yeah, we have a wide open southern border. The conservative estimates are that we've had 15 million illegals come into our country since Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took over the White House. That's twice than the population of the entire state of Indiana. So to put that into perspective. And with that, with the illegals coming into our country, we have a fentanyl epidemic that floods into this country that's the leading cause of death of Americans my age, of military eligible age. It's a national security issue for our country, and it's devastating families all over the state of Indiana. So these are issues that we have to immediately focus on. Go back to the Trump policies, the Remain in Mexico policy. It worked under President Trump. It was a deterrent that pushed illegals. It deterred them from coming across the border because they knew that they would be sent back to Mexico instead of being released in the United States. And then end catch and release, which is the Obama era policy that Donald Trump did away with. Joe Biden brought it back. It means that if you come into our country illegally, you're going to be released into the United States. So do away with catch and release, go back to the Remain in Mexico policy, and then build the wall. The wall worked. When President Trump built large sections of it, the Border Patrol agents told me it made their jobs easier to stop crime and drugs and bad people with terrorists and others who are trying to get into our country. So build the wall. We got to go back to those policies first. We can do it on day one with President Trump in the White House and with senators like myself backing him up on it.
What are you hearing from Hoosiers about the border and immigration issues?
Well, it's the top issue. I really believe it. I mean, the drugs flowing into our country. I mean, I live in a small town, Columbia City in Northeast Indiana, and I travel to small towns all over this state, and everywhere I go, I meet families who have been devastated because of the loss of a loved one, a family member, a friend who has died from a fentanyl poisoning. All of it comes across the southern border. The ingredients are made in China, by the way, our biggest foreign adversary, China. Made in China fentanyl, partnering with the Mexican drug cartels who are getting rich. They're billions of dollars richer because of the open border. And then they flood this fentanyl into our country. So it's devastating. I hear truly sad, heartbreaking stories from families all over this state who know, they understand that this stuff is coming into our country because of a wide open border. Then you have high crime issues. You have Mexican gangs coming into our country, and you see the effects of crime. You have an impact on housing because migrants are being housed in apartment buildings. It's driving up the cost of rent. And then on top of that, the effect that it has on jobs for hardworking Hoosiers, that illegals coming into our country take those jobs. So overall, it's bad for our country. And even at this point, I'm somewhat optimistic because even Kamala Harris is talking. She's changed her tune. Before she was against the wall. Now she's for building the wall. President Trump has always stood for securing the border. But we need senators in the United States Senate who are going to take it seriously. And that'll be my top priority when I get to the Senate, to help President Trump secure the border and end the madness, go back to common sense policies that keep our country safe.
Okay. WTHR asked viewers and readers to identify the most important issues that are driving them to the ballot box next month. You've talked about the migration and the southern border. Why does it seem that Congress can't get anything done on this?
Yeah, it's sad because it takes a president and Congress working together to secure the border. But in the case of what Donald Trump did, he did it by executive order. He built the wall. He needed funding from Congress. He didn't get enough funding. So that's one thing that Congress has to do, is give President Trump, when he's back in office, the funding to build the full border wall. But President Trump signed the Remain in Mexico policy by executive order. And on day one, Joe Biden signed an executive order to reverse it. Joe Biden stopped construction of the border wall by executive order, and then he reinstituted catch and release by executive order. So President Trump on day one, he's already told the American people, if you send me back to the White House, I'm going back to the Trump border policies that work. Will be the first thing that he does and signs in the Oval Office after he's inaugurated. But Congress needs to cement it. Congress has to pass it to make it permanent, make these policies permanent, and that's what I'll be fighting for. How
do we have unity and work to, make this a better place, better country?
Yeah, I love this country. This country has done so much for me. I served in Afghanistan. I served as a Navy Reserve officer. I wore the uniform. I grew up in a trailer park, and now I get the chance to be a United States Senator from Indiana. This is the greatest country in the history of the world, and that we have to get back to being unified about that America is great. And I think that the best days can be ahead for our country if we can agree on that. And I find that Americans are everywhere I go around Indiana, whether I'm talking to Democrats or Republicans, they all agree that we have to secure the border. They all agree that we have to bring down inflation and the cost of living, the cost of groceries, the cost of gas at the gas stations. I mean, I find a lot of unity in that. I don't think that's partisan. It's about helping families, helping hardworking people make ends meet, and go back to common sense policies that help to do that. And we saw what that looks like. Again, I served in Congress 4 years under Trump, 4 years under Biden. Putting Americans first in our foreign policy, in our immigration policy, in our economic policy, that's what it's all about. And that's what I have a proven track record of fighting for in the House, and what I'm going to take to the Senate.
What can you do to make a difference?
Well, I'm doing it. It's putting my name on the ballot, running for office. It's a calling for me and my family. My wife and I have 3 daughters, 15, 13, and 11 years old. And we often talk about what is this country going to look like when they're in charge? What are we leaving behind to our kids and our grandkids? So for me, it's serving my country. I proudly served my country. I proudly wore the uniform. I'm proudly running for the United States Senate to do my part to make this country better. Indiana is such a great state. I love this state, everything that it's done for me, for being a kid growing up in a small town, working class. My dad was a factory worker. My mom was a cook in a nursing home. And my family has lived the American dream. And my mission in life now is to pass that American dream on to my kids, and that's how I intend to make a difference.
I understand there was a bill before Congress earlier this year that would have addressed the border, one that Border Patrol supported. Why did you decide not to support it?
Well, it was a bill in the Senate, so it never came to the House. So we never voted on it in the House. But there were several troubling aspects about the bill that I think you're talking about that still would have allowed millions of illegals to come into our country and have permanent legal status. I mean, again, I think this is really simple. Secure the border, build the wall, end catch and release, go back to Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. And by the way, I'm also for President Trump's plans of mass deportation. Send those who came here illegally back to where they came from. Start with the criminals. Start with those who have committed violent crimes in the United States and deport them. Send them back, get them out of our country. And then also hold businesses accountable who hire illegal labor. And I think once you take away that incentive for people to come here illegally to begin with, I think they'll start going back home, and our country will be better off for it. But at the same time, you got to fix the legal immigration policies and do away with the visa lottery system and replace it with a merit-based approach that takes Americans and our economy, the needs of our economy first before the needs of foreign countries. And that's how you fix it. I don't believe that the bill that was moving through the Senate that we never voted on in the House, if we would have voted on in the House, we would have amended it and changed different parts of it. I don't think it did what I think has to be done to secure our border.
Okay. Why should Hoosiers vote for you?
Well, I have a proven track record. I've served in the Congress for 8 years, so what you see is what you get. I have a record, and that record has been in putting America first. I serve on the Armed Services Committee and work very hard to support our troops and make our military strong. I want to take that experience that I've had for 8 years as a conservative leader in the House of Representatives and take it to the United States Senate, where we need more fighters fighting for the cause of putting America first. So that's why I'm running. That's why I'm humbly asking voters in Indiana to give me this chance to have a promotion to serve our whole state in the U.S. Senate. I don't take it lightly. It's a big job, and we have big problems facing our country with inflation and the border, our competition with adversaries like China, our foreign policy that's broken today. The world is less safe today than any day when Donald Trump was president of the United States. And we got to go back to projecting American strength around the world. And I believe deeply in that and have a track record of fighting for that. So that's why I'm asking Hoosiers for their vote to give me a promotion to take my experience and the fight that I've led in the House of Representatives to take it to the United States Senate.
If former President Trump doesn't win and Vice President Kamala Harris does win, what then? Well,
then I think we have to ask questions about whether or not she's been very clear in the debates and many of her interviews that she fully supports the Biden agenda of the last 4 years that have dug this country into a hole, that have raised the cost of living for this country. So as far as I'm concerned, if I'm a United States Senator, and hopefully that's not what happens, I think President Trump is going to win, but if somehow she won, then it'll be my mission to stop her from doing more damage to America, to stop her from out of control spending that's driving up inflation, to stop her from doing more damage with a wide open border and those policies, and to do everything I can as one senator out of 100 to stop her from pushing those policies.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Just that it's an honor to serve, an honor to run for the U.S. Senate. I don't take it lightly. It'd be an incredible privilege to serve Indiana, and here we are days away from the election, and I'm excited about Election Day, and then moving forward and going to Washington and doing my part to save this country.